cars, Friday night fun. Lightning McQueen and his friend Mater the tow truck raced to the tractor field. It was Friday night and they were ready for some fun. "You first, Mater," Lightning whispered as they got there. The tow truck looked out at all the sleeping tractors. Then he quietly drove up to one and honked. Beep, beep. The startled tractor woke up, tipped over, and moaned as its wheels spun helplessly in the air. Then it made the noise that Mater and Lightning loved. Snort. The race car and the tow truck erupted into a fit of giggles. "Your turn, Lightning," said Mater. Lightning smirked and snuck up next to another tractor. Since he didn't have a horn, he revved his engine. Vroom, vroom. The noise was so loud that every single tractor in the field woke up and tipped over. Snort, 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 snort. Lightning and Mater laughed and laughed. "Boy, you was good," Mater said when they finally caught their breath. "Well, I learned from the best," Lightning told him. "Aw, shucks," answered Mater. Suddenly, a pair of headlights shone in their faces as Sheriff pulled up in front of them. "Mater, what have I told you about tractor tipping?" "To not to?" Mater answered sheepishly. "That's right," said Sheriff. "Lightning, you should know better too. I'll see you both in traffic court tomorrow." As they drove to town, Mater whispered, "That was fun, wasn't it, buddy?" "You bet," whispered Lightning. Still, he hoped Sally, the sporty blue Porsche she had a crush on, wouldn't find out. The next morning, Sheriff escorted Mater and Lightning to traffic school. Lightning spotted Sally and drove over. "Didn't know you would be here," he said. "Want to be my lawyer?" "Sorry," she replied. "The tractors hired me first." Lightning frowned as the judge, a 1951 Hudson Hornet named Doc Hudson entered the room. "Listen, Doc," started Lightning. "Mater and I were just doing a little harmless tractor tipping." "Harmless," interrupted Sally. She pointed to the row of sleeping tractors behind her. "The tractors wouldn't call it harmless. They can't even get a good night's rest because these two are always waking them up." "Aw, we didn't mean the little fellers any harm," said Mater. "I think the fairest thing to do," said Doc, "is to sentence you boys to community service. Why don't you help Ramon clean his shop? And no more tractor tipping." Lightning and Mater drove over to Ramon's house of body art. "Well, here's the job," Ramon said as he showed them the back room. It looked like it hadn't been cleaned in a while. "I'm going outside. All set?" "You bet," answered Lightning and Mater. A few minutes later, Mater accidentally knocked over a can of pink paint. The lid flew off and the paint splattered Lightning. "Hey," Lightning hollered, "watch it." "Sorry," said Mater, "but you sure do look purty in pink." "Let's see how you look in it," shouted Lightning. He hurled an open can of paint at Mater. Then the tow truck threw lime green paint at Lightning. After a few minutes, the pair was covered in paint. When Ramon peeked in, he got splattered too. "I can't believe my eyes, man," cried Ramon. "Look at my shop. Out, before I take a blowtorch to both of you." The friends left the shop and got Red the fire truck to hose them off. Once they were clean, they drove over to Doc's garage. "Mater and I messed up again," said Lightning. "Yeah," Mater agreed. We got into a little bitty paint fight at Ramon's. How can we make things right? Asked Lightning. Boys, Doc sighed. Why don't you go help Luigi with his new shipment of tires? And please try to behave this time. Yes, sir, Lightning and Mater answered. The two zipped over to Luigi's Casa dei Tires. There they found Luigi, a 1959 Fiat, and Guido, a spunky little forklift, bickering in Italian. Doc sent us over here to give you a hand, said Lightning. Grazie, said Luigi. Can you move those tires inside? The front of Casa dei Tires must be bellissima at all times. Might as well get started, Mater said. He passed a tire to Lightning, who put it inside. Guido and Luigi went to the showroom. A dozen tires later, Lightning said, There's got to be a faster way. What if we piled up the tires and pushed them inside? Sure, said Mater. Otherwise, we're going to be here all dag-dung get day. So Lightning and Mater began stacking tires. When they were ready to push the pile, it was so high that they couldn't see over it. They were sick of working, so they moved the pile anyway. It slammed right into Luigi's leaning tower of tires. All at once the tower toppled over. A tower, cried Luigi, zooming outside. She has a ruined. I can't believe it. You two break my heart. Guido just shook his head and muttered in Italian. Sorry, said Lightning. It was a mistake. We can fix it. Just go, Luigi said. Lightning and Mater looked at the ground. Guess we better go see Doc again, Mater said. When the tow truck and race cart arrived at Doc's, he gave them one last chance. Go find Bessie and surprise Flo with a new paving job. This is sure is a nice surprise, Flo said, when Mater and Lightning drove up to the V8 cafe. Since my parking lot's going to get a makeover, I'm taking the afternoon off. Don't you worry, said Mater. We's getting right to work. Mater and Lightning spent hours scraping up the old pavement in the hot sun. I'm just about pooped, said Mater. Same here, answered Lightning. Do you think anyone would mind if we took a little break and zipped out of the bot for a little race? Wee-hoo, shouted Mater, driving off at a top speed. Lightning breezed after him backward. Why are you driving so slow? He asked, smiling. The friends had so much fun that they forgot all about the paving job at Flo's V8 cafe. By the time they remembered, it was dark. We'll just finish it in the morning, Lightning said. Okay, buddy, Mater agreed. The next morning, Mater and Lightning drove over to Flo's. Just about everyone in Radiator Springs was hard at work trying to finish the paving job. No one had been able to drive in for their breakfast fill-up, and they were grumpy. Hey man, look who finally rolled out of the garage, said Ramon. I can't believe they showed up, Luigi added. Mater and Lightning were embarrassed. Sorry everyone, the race car said. We'll take it from here. Then Mater and Lightning got to work. Lightning worked with Bessie to do the smoothest paving job ever. A couple of hours later, they were done. The V8 cafe looked fantastic. Thanks, boys, said Flo. Folks, drive on up for the finest fuel in Carburetor County. All breakfast fill-ups on Mater and me, shouted Lightning. Everyone cheered. Everything finally went back to normal in Radiator Springs, until Friday night rolled around again. Hey buddy, whispered Mater to Lightning. How about a little tractor tipping fun tonight? I don't know, Mater, Lightning replied. Why don't we just go to the drive-in? Woohoo, I'd love to, little buddy, said Mater. Race ya. A few minutes later, Mater and Lightning arrived at the theater. They got some refreshments and settled in for a night of fun.